Good morning and welcome to the Clermont County Commissioners meeting this June the 5th, 2024. Man, we were waiting for summer for so long. It's finally gotten here and it just goes so quickly. Prior to starting a meeting, we always ask local clergy if they would come and lead us in prayer if you're so moved. This morning we have Pastor Michael Brandenburg from Greenbush Baptist Church. He has been here many times. He's a mainstay pastor that helps us out with this duty. Thanks for being here this morning, and would you please lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Commissioners. It's an honor to be here. Let's bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, Lord, in our hearts we plan our course today, but we pray that you establish all of our steps. I pray that we seek you for our advice and let us not make decisions based upon our wisdom, but let us be based and act upon your wisdom. Guide us, Lord, today as we place this meeting in your hands. We place our hearts and our minds in your hands so that you may direct us. As you have said in Scripture, that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities. And since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice, whether we agree with them or not, we are commissioned and mandated to pray for them. Therefore, I pray for our nation, our president, and for all various levels of officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I'm asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom, a sense of welfare, justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. I pray for those gathered in this chamber and that the agenda set before them this morning, please give them assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in around this county that we call home, Clermont. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And now before we start this meeting, we have one of our elected officials here with us. Judge Mary Lynn Burke is here. Judge Burke, thanks for being at the Commissioners meeting today. And would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start right off with our agenda. First item on our agenda is the approval of regular session minutes of 5/29/24. Board, you've had the opportunity to review these minutes early. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any conversation, discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number C is the next item on our agenda, and it is a presentation for a certificate of recognition for attorney Debra Rothstein as the John and Jenny Elam Pro Bono Award recipient for 2024. Debra, would you come up to the podium, please?
Judge, come on up with her.
You bet. Thanks for being here this morning. You bet. We're pleased to have you. Just to read a few things here, attorney Debra Rothstein Clark has always been committed to serving others. During her long, accomplished career as a legal aid in the Society of Greater Cincinnati, she has helped hundreds of low-income Ohioans access legal services, a commitment she's continued even in your retirement. And you know you don't have to do that. You know, I mean, that's a tough thing.
I really enjoy it.
She began her pro bono journey in 2019 when she volunteered as a guardian for the Clermont County Domestic Relations Court. There she accepted appointments from the court for remarkable 30 cases, all pro bono. During both her legal aid and pro bono careers, Attorney Rothstein has been a fierce advocate for children for abuse and neglect cases. I know you also reached out not only in Clermont County, but I understand you did pro bono work in Adams County
Exactly.
and Brown
yes.
County
My
and
pleasure. Yeah.
other counties around here. So I would like to present you this certificate for your volunteer efforts from the Board of County Commissioners on being recognized for your extraordinary service by being selected as the recipient of the 2024 Elam Award. We thank you for your years of pro bono work in Clermont County Domestic Relations Court, and it's signed by myself and Claire Corcoran, Vice President of Commissioners, and Bonnie Batchelor, member. Thank you so much for all that you've done for us.
just want to thank everyone who has acknowledged volunteer work in the court systems. It is so good to be part of that group. It's an inclusive group. And I just feel humbled by this recognition and really thank commissioners for this. And thank you.
Absolutely.
And Clermont County is a wonderful county. It's wonderful to be here and to do work, good work here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
you.
And we will take a picture with you.
Oh.
Mary Lynn. We'll do it right up here in front of the dais.
Okay.
Right
Very good.
And Commissioner Painter, it is white.
It is, I told her.
You got a memo to your
For those of you that don't attend much, you can tell that I don't get cut any slack.
We don't want to white out everybody.
Can you do all this white?
Isn't
Yeah,
white,
yeah, we can-
I got blue.
We can.
isn't
Yeah.
white like a
You're
symbol
being
for
honored.
women's suffrage? I mean, isn't that-
Will you just take the picture?
Open this. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now, there we go.
You have to get used to being ordered.
Yeah.
All right. And everyone smile and 3, 2, 1. And 3, 2.
Thank you.
Thank
There
you
you
so
go.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks for leading us in the pledge. People always ask, what do you like about being a commissioner? I'm like, that's one of the things right there, is being able to recognize people that do extraordinary things in Clermont County. We will move on with the agenda. Item D is public participation. Is there anyone here this morning that'd like to participate from the public? If you would, we'd love to have you do that. Please come on up. Please state your name and your address at the podium.
My name is Megan Dashley, and my address is 1672 Wilderness Ridge.
Megan, you will be given 5 minutes to address the Clermont County Board of Commissioners. At that time, there won't be any comments from us or responses, and the podium's yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Megan Dashley, and I'm here today begging you guys to care about the dogs who cannot be here to speak for themselves today. I was raised by law enforcement. My dad served for 26 years for the city of Cincinnati and another 14 with Warren County Drug Task Force. Among many things that he taught me, it was to always stand up for what I believe, even if I have to stand alone. Yesterday, I knew clear as day what I wanted to speak to you guys about. But here I am, nearly speechless of what has transpired in the last 24 hours at the Clermont County Animal Shelter. We're left with one question: what happens next? What happens next when we no longer have a staff to care for the 76 plus dogs in our care at any given time? What happens next for the dogs needing rotated outdoors because we don't have adequate outdoor space that we are continually promised is coming? Who is left to care and protect for these dogs when there is no staff left? With a decrease in staffing, it has led to decreased hours, decreased adoptions, all while juggling the uptick in owner surrenders, strays, and puppy dumpings. A perfect storm for disaster. Since the end of 2023, the shelter has been understaffed and struggling to bridge the gaps. A staff already struggling to get ahead continue to fall further behind. With every week, an environment has become more toxic, more unhealthy, and more oppressive. The hostile work environment and pressures put on the staff has led to where we are today. The Bureau of Labor Statistics states that animal rescue workers have occupational suicide rate nearly 5 times higher than the average worker. This alarming statistic includes not only suicides, but also PTSD, depression, and secondary trauma. Of the staff remaining, the current environment is severely impacting the quality of life for both themselves and the dogs they care for. Numerous staff members have spoken openly about their depression and low mental health over the last year. One confided in me this week, "I have never been so low mentally and cannot continue to stay in a place that is ultimately going to take my life." With the announcement of our kennel manager putting in her 2 weeks notice, more departures to come, recent firings, and no one up on deck, I do not know how much more the remaining few can take because there's not much left. Daily, these staff members break down into tears, and the volunteers are left to console them. Daily, these staff members have panic attacks and anxiety attacks in the bathroom. Daily, these staff members are belittled and left to pick up the pieces, trying their best to stay afloat. We cannot keep losing good people. We cannot keep firing good people. And we can't keep pushing away the only people who give a damn about the well-being of the dogs in the shelter. We need staffing, and we need to pay them truly livable wages. We need to provide a safe and healthy work environment. We need a leader who is going to be supportive, cultivate teamwork, provide mentorship, build trust, and be committed to the future of the shelter, the dogs, and the staff. A suicidal workforce, no leadership, no cats, a blown medical budget by May, reduced hours, misuse of funding. How can the county see this as a success? You failed the county and the dogs we serve by rejecting the Humane Society's contract proposal. Carolyn Evans knew back then what we're seeing come to fruition now. Under the county's control, we cannot retain the right people. So commissioners, I ask you this, what's your plan?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other?
Well, I really think Megan said.
State your name
I'm
and
sorry.
address for the record.
Kim Bush, 5985 Katy Way, Milford, Ohio. I really think Megan said it all, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. I mean, first of all, staff are not the only ones breaking down on a regular basis. The volunteers are as well. It's emotionally draining. I mean, you leave there and you feel horrible. It's just a depressing situation. But there's a couple of things that just never seem to get resolved. Questions that I've asked numerous times, like the updates that are supposed to happen at the shelter. We don't have them. It's been like 2 years. So I'm wondering, like there was money donated to the animals at the animal shelter that was supposed to be outdoor kennels, covering for the outdoor play area, a dishwasher, the washer and dryer. I don't even know what's going on with that, but everything takes at least 2 years. So the dogs can't wait 2 years for everything that they have or that they need. We need a committee for euthanasia decisions. There is not a committee. It should not be one person making this decision. That should be a vet, a behaviorist, the director, and a volunteer. That should be, or somebody from the community. One person cannot make a behavioral euthanasia decision. Also, the staffing. I mean, right now, there are no staff really. Even at the best times when there was staff, the hours, the shifts are not staggered. They need to be staggered. The dogs aren't getting out. And the public doesn't even realize that dogs are locked up really probably 22 hours a day at the very least. They're lucky if they get out 2 hours. And that's being very generous. The dogs need to get out. They can't be in from 3 o'clock. And I know they close at 4. The dogs aren't out at 4. So 2, 3 o'clock until the next morning, that's ridiculous. That's not acceptable. And, it's something that we've fought for a really long time. And our voices aren't being heard. So I don't know what more we can do to make our voices heard, but it's going to be things you don't want done because we're going to have to go to media we're going to have to get the public involved. You have to hear us. We're there every day. We don't see any of your faces there, but we are there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure. Please state your name and address. Thank you.
Paula Hayden, 6203 Mallard Trace. I was here about a year ago, and I came in wide-eyed, first starting to volunteer, and sat here in front of you and said, we are going to have the best shelter in the entire area. And I really believe that. So I've been there a year. We're not against you. We're for the dogs. And I think everybody needs to understand that. I'm going to break down because I do every day I leave there. We had $60,000 set aside for new kennels outside. Please understand, Tim was out there measuring, asking what size they should be to Shelby. I was there. Somebody came out and did the wiring so we didn't put the kennels, in and start something on fire. It hasn't been done. If we had those kennels, we would still have workers, because in the morning, you need to understand the process. They take the dogs outside, immediately clean all the kennels, grab the dogs, come back in, clean the kennels of all the poop that's out there. Bring another set of dogs out. Bring that dog. Bring another set of dogs back out. If we had more kennels, those dogs could go out and stay all day long on a nice day. We need those kennels. We were told we had the money for the kennels. The washer and dryer. I purchased a washer and dryer a year ago. We need 2 washer and dryers. We walk in there. When those puppies came in from that big hoarding case, I, PJ, and Kelly did all the laundry in those back rooms. I went in at 8 o'clock in the morning and cleaned and put the laundry out in the hall, and Kelly would pick it up and I would bring it home. I would come back at 8 o'clock the next morning, get the other clothing, put it back outside, replace it with the new ones. We need help. We need so much help, and something has to be done. There are 2 kennels outside that we can't put dogs in because the lock, something's broken on them. A year ago, it was asked to be fixed. Please, please. The workers are leaving. When Shelby leaves, we're going to have no one in leadership that really, really cares about these dogs. Please do something. We're not allowed to talk to the media. Megan came in and did a whole area, a beautiful area for the dogs. People are donating all the time. Tim and Shelby put up a new fence outside for the dogs to go. We need more of that. It's heartbreaking. All these volunteers here, they don't need to be here. They're here for the dogs, not for anyone else. We are here for the dogs, and please, please help us.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Roger Vogel. I live at 3635 South Hopper Ridge Road. I have been a volunteer for the shelter since February of last year. I think I have volunteered a total of around 160 hours, which in my opinion is small compared to what these ladies have done. They are dedicated individuals that care about one thing, they care about the welfare of the dogs. I have seen major decline in the staffing over the last few months. I'm talking about new dog wardens, new administrative people who work the front desk, other people who work the front desk, kennel techs. I was so frustrated in the last 2 months, I started to volunteer at the League for Animal Welfare. I think you all know where that is. It's on Taylor Road. They have a modern facility. They have kennel runs that allow the dogs to go outside. They have over 2 miles of walking trails in the woods. What do we have? We have no walking trails. We have no outdoor runs for the dogs. We are surrounded by other county property, primarily sheriff's department offices. What do we get? Our volunteers get harassed by sheriff's deputies because our dogs inadvertently peed on one of their vehicles or peed on one of their bushes. We have a shooting range right across the street from the kennels. I've been there walking dogs when deputies have been shooting their weapons. It sounded like a war going on. These ladies care about one thing. They care about the welfare of the dogs. I personally feel, along with Megan, that the shelter is at a crisis situation. I personally feel that it's come to the point that either the shelter gets closed down and all these dogs are transferred to other shelters or other rescues, because we need help. We need staffing help. We need improvements in the shelter facilities. In my opinion is, I don't think that the three of you want to have the media come down on you as to why you cannot operate and function a basic shelter. I know that come November, there's an election. I know that there's individuals who care about the shelter, who have come out to the shelter, who are running for election. So I hope you keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? With that, I'll close public participation. Thank you. Thanks for coming today. Thanks for participating.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
if anyone's here for wind and solar.
Is anyone here today to talk about wind and solar? Just one? Gail, do you want to do that now?
Yes, please.
Okay. If you would like to.
I was coming to observe.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You didn't have a statement you wanted to make or anything in public? Okay.
There's no one here then.
Okay.
My meeting.
Then I'll close public participation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I said, I came for that, but I'm listening to this. And I look out my back window and I'm looking at Karina, and that's what, 1.5 billion?
Ed, I'll stop you right. You're more than welcome to participate, but you really need to come up to the podium and give your name and address and all that. Okay. Thank you. We will move on with the agenda.
Sure. No.
No, I'll keep it up. Absolutely. State your name and your address for the record.
Mike Ashcraft.
Okay.
4400 Briar Creek Lane, Batavia, Ohio.
Okay.
I'm in both Williamsburg and Jackson Township, and I wanted to speak about the solar proposal.
Okay.
How far, I'm just getting involved in this, so maybe if you want to do this on the side, I don't want to bore everybody here, but I was just curious about how far it is as far as the proposal for, let's see, I've got their little sketch. The Clermont Energy. I mean, is there an update, or are we still proceeding forward? I guess my question.
They are still proceeding forward, and it has to go all the way up to the siding board, which is scheduled, I believe, September 19th. Don't quote me on the date because I don't have the date in front of me.
Okay, is there a way I can find the date?
Sure. I'll be happy to give it, or I'll give it to Gail. We'll make sure you're contacted. Just make sure you leave us with a phone number, please, or email.
And the other thing is, I was just curious. I got this map in the mail, and I'm a new resident here,
Okay.
3 years. I got this little map in the mail. I don't know how many people live in this area, this little map, and it told me absolutely nothing until I drove out to see where this was at and found out that it's according to my guesstimate, is bordering the Vista Meadows home development. There's about 80 homes in there, and it's going to be right on their back doorstep, according to my, again, unofficial map.
Mhm.
And I was just curious what the status was. And also, Fisher Homes is building a new subdivision on Sauls Road, and looks like it's going to be about 100 yards away. And I was curious of whether or not they knew going into this development, there's going to be a solar farm within 100 yards of that development. And I wasn't, I guess I'm at the wrong meeting, because I don't know where they would be, if they would be coming to these meetings. Have they been notified
Everyone has been.
from the Clear Mountain Energy Company?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And they've
Since they're
done
not a
public
resident
meetings
yet.
and
Okay. And and really, that was really the only thing. I just need to know where the next step is, and what do I need to do, attend, and how do I get involved? So,
We'll provide you with the dates and times and let you know where they're
Okay.
going to be.
all right. Well, thank you for.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Anything else in public participation? Then I'll close public participation. We'll move on with our regular agenda. Our next item up is the consent agenda, which is item E. Board, you've had the consent agenda forwarded to you, had an opportunity to review it. Are there any items that need to be pulled from the consent agenda?
None.
None? Then I would request a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation?
None.
Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We'll move to item number F, which is the non-consent agenda, which starts on page 3 with item number 7. The recommendation, the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 048-24 to approve payment to vendors in the amount of $1,268,090.67 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated June 5th, 2024. BCC directed prepaid invoice reports for procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on 6/3/24, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants pursuant to section 319.16 the Ohio Revised Code. Do you have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 8.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm here. So, recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the modification agreement to the letter of engagement with Julian and Grube Incorporated, the independent public accountant, for the annual audit for the County of Clermont, Ohio, for an increase for $5,750 for a new total contract amount of $84,500, which is a change to include the Board of Elections required procedures and additional auditing of the, it's not in here, in the land reutilization corporation. All other terms and conditions of the engagement letter and memorandum of agreement between Keith Faber, Ohio Auditor State, Julian and Grube Incorporated, and the Board of County Commissioners is to remain in full force and effect.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 8. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9.
Morning.
Morning.
Chris.
you?
Good. You, Chris?
Well, thank you. And Emily's going to join me up here. Item number 9 is a recommendation to authorize the county auditor to issue a check in the amount of $3,100,000 from the Planning and Development Fund to the Clermont County Community Improvement Corporation, otherwise known as the CIC, representing the county's contribution for the CIC's functions under Chapter 1724 of the Ohio Revised Code for calendar year 2024, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 307.78 of the Ohio Revised Code and Section 14 of the agreement by and between the Clermont County between Clermont County and the Clermont County CIC Incorporated.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 9. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion?
None.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Chris. Item number 10.
Item number 10 is a recommendation to execute a memorandum of understanding between the Board of County Commissioners, Clermont County, Ohio, and the Clermont County Family and Children's First, whose administrative agent is the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, for the establishment of a cooperative and mutually beneficial relationship between all parties, and further, to provide for the contribution of $37,558 by the Board of County Commissioners to the Clermont County Family and Children's First, which represents the Board of County Commissioners' local contribution for the period of 7/1 of 24 through 6/30 of 25, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified and in compliance with the Clermont County Family and Children's First local contribution policy.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 10. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Second. It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Abstain, I sit on that council. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dottie. Item number 11. Morning.
Morning.
Item 11 is a recommendation to authorize Thomas J. Eigel to update and add the following roles to the Federal Transit Administration Transit Awards Management System as outlined below. Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to renew role as Official and User Manager. Jessica Powell, Assistant County Administrator of Procurement, add role as Official and User Manager. And Ryan Spencer, Attorney, add role as Attorney.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thank you. Item number 12.
Item number 12 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 049-24 to authorize Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to execute the Ohio Urban Transit Program grant contract date extension for contract number TUTP 0067 GRU 221 between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners and the State of Ohio Transportation Department for the state fiscal year of 2022, contract renewal from the previous performance dates of 7/1/2022 through 6/30/2023 to extend through 12/31 of 2024 to complete invoices and drawdowns on purchases.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thank you. Item number 13.
Morning.
Recommendation to approve the request to advertise for a request for qualifications for engineering and design services for Clermont County HVAC replacement projects pursuant to the plans and specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, June 13th, 2024, with RFQs to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, June 27th, 2024, in the office and the board of the County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, Batavia, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud. This notice will also be posted on Clermont County's website.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 14.
Item 14, recommendation to reject all bids received on May 16th, 2024 for the EMA Center office renovations located at 2279 Clermont Center Drive, Batavia. All bids exceeded the architect's estimate of construction by more than 20%, all in compliance with section 153.12 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Wow, 20%. That
That's
didn't make that cut. So you'll be going back out to rebid this. Okay. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 15. Hi, Emily.
Morning. I have a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 181-23 for 2024. I have 3 supplemental appropriations. The first is the 2003 various water line special assessment for $200, the economic development $474,168, and that is for the Healthy Aging Grant. It came in at the very end of last year, so we didn't appropriate it because it came after appropriations was finished. So this is to spend those grant funds. And then lastly, for Board of Elections grant, $5,972.
Okay. Thank you. You've heard the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved in second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Emily. Item number 16.
Item number 16 is a recommendation to adopt Resolution 090-24, amending resolution number 090-23, which was previously approved by the Board of Commissioners on 6/21/2023. And this will include additional townships in the designated area to restrict certain unincorporated areas of Clermont County from construction of economically significant wind farms, large wind farms, and large solar facilities pursuant to and in compliance with sections 303.57 and 58 of the Ohio Revised Code, which will become effective 30 days after adoption of the resolution unless acted upon pursuant to section 303.59 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Just to talk about that a second, this will place a restriction on large wind and solar throughout 12 of the 14 townships in Clermont County.
Yes.
And the only 2 townships that will be available for that will be Miami and Pierce. And the thought is there that it's not conducive of, large solar farm, which would take up about 13 or 1,400 acres. So, yes. No, that's okay. I'll take it from the floor.
I'd like to know what a large solar farm constitutes. I mean, is it acreage? Is it panels? Is it?
It's megawatts.
Megawatts?
It's by megawatt.
So
Yep.
a large megawatt is
100.
100 megawatts?
Mm-hmm.
Or more, or is it just up to 100 megawatts?
No, or more. Yep.
That's a biggie.
It is. And you ask about Clear Mountain. Clear Mountain is
Yeah.
is that size of solar project.
1,200 acres and 100 megawatts.
Correct.
And if you go back and look at it, a lot of the things were already approved and started to be grandfathered in. So that's when everything went, wait a minute, let's see what we're doing here at the state level.
Is it grandfathered in?
It is.
Yes.
Is it done deal?
It is. Now, when you say a done deal,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
throw
not.
this out. It's not a done deal if citizens uprising results in letters and petitions to the Ohio Power Siting Board. The Ohio Siting Power Board has been very, very, what would you call?
Restrictive, conservative.
They've been very conservative when it comes to communities that have stepped forward, even when a project has been grandfathered in. So for us to say that a project like that couldn't be stopped would not be a fair statement.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anything else? Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. That concludes our non-consent agenda. Next would be additions to the agenda. Gail, Tom, we have any additions?
We have 2. We have change order 8 and 9 for Philliger Campus.
Okay, we need
Add
to,
those first, and then we'll.
okay, we need to add those to the agenda. We have 2 change orders to discuss today. Change order number 8 and 9. This is to the Philliger Campus, which is the transportation garage, phase 1. Do I have a motion to add them to the agenda?
I'll make the motion, Ed.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, they've been added to the agenda. My suggestion would be to take 8 first.
Thank you. Add on, this is change order number 8. There's a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 8 to the contract with Monarch Construction Company, 164 Sherman Avenue, P.O. Box 12249, Cincinnati, Ohio, for construction of the Philliger Campus Improvement Phase 1 project, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 5/31/2023, and subsequently amended with no change in the total contract price of $18,516,000, but will result in required use of an amount of not to exceed $11,063.51 of the contract contingency allowance, with no increase of contract time, resulting in a substantial completion date of August 15th, 2024, in compliance with the terms and conditions in the contract for the Philliger Campus Improvement Phase 1 as outlined below. A couple of these items that are on this change order. There's some modification of the girt spacing to allow for a vent in the louver walls. That is a zero cost change order. That's just a change in the scope of work. The revised electrical connection for the vehicle lifts at the Fleet Maintenance Building. There was some movement of the lifts inside there, which changed where the electrical connections were going to be. That's just some adding of some material and labor hours. Provide electrical service revisions. There was a couple of electrical panels that were not necessarily in a way, but close to a walkway. They were perfectly fine where they were at, and we had decided to not change those. However, they did move those for us, and that's a change of work scope also. The added gate and a chain link fence per the owner's request was a gate that the engineer had requested towards the back of the lot. That way they can get behind that fence to be able to do the mowing, so we don't have a beautiful jungle growing behind a brand new facility.
Thank you for no jungle.
Board, you've heard the reading of the change order number 8 scope. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or clarification? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. And then the next one is change order number 9 to the same contract.
Correct. This is a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 9 to the contract for Monarch Construction Company at 164 Sherman Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, for construction of the Filliger Campus Improvement Phase 1 project previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 5/31/2023 and subsequently amended with no change in the total contract price for $18,516,000, but will result in acquired use of an amount not to exceed $213,444.86 of the contract contingency allowance with no increase in contract time, resulting in a substantial completion date of August 15th, 2024, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions in the contract for Filliger Campus Improvement Phase 1 as outlined below. This change order obviously is a larger one. After working back and forth with the contractor and our architect and also with Commissioner Painter, this had been brought down quite a bit, almost $100,000 after negotiating. This is basically adds of the concrete and some rebar at each of the pre-engineered metal buildings. The layout that they had when they went to do the bid, they specify 3 different buildings they could possibly use. However, it's not impossible, but it's very hard for that engineer to dictate which one they're going to choose and be able to put that in a bid. So this is an add of the $213,444.86 for the additional concrete and additional work for each of those buildings.
Board, you've heard the reading of the scope for change order number 9. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes. Any more additions, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Nope. Then we will move to item number H. Item number H is I'm requesting an executive session pursuant to section 12122 G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment, dismissal, or compensation of one or more public employees. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Been moved in second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes, we will move to executive session. We will return and we will conduct further business. Thank you. We have returned from executive session. There were no decisions or actions taken. We will move on with our agenda, but prior to moving forward, we'll go back for a second and just ask for, are there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, sir. There's a personnel action in the animal shelter we need to add.
Okay. Board, you've heard the request to add a personnel action. I believe this will be for a termination. Like to add it to the agenda. Do I have a motion to add this personnel action to the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor, Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Morning, Terry. How are you?
Afternoon now, I think.
It is afternoon.
Terry Brandenburg with Human Resources. I have a probationary removal for Clermont County Kennel employee Hannah Moore, effective today's date, June 5th, 2024.
Okay, board, you've heard the request for a termination for Hannah Moore. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Been moved.
I will second.
Been moved and second. Any further questions, clarifications?
No.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We'll move on with the agenda. Item I is county staff elected official discussions. Is there anyone here from our county staff that would like to address the board this morning?
Angie Levacy.
Angie?
Yes,
Hi,
Angela
Angie.
Levacy, Deputy Assistant County Administrator. I did want to share, at the direction of our office, I'm going to be planning to spend many hours at the shelter in the coming days, weeks, months, however long it takes to rectify some of the issues that have been presented to you today. We do appreciate the dedication of the volunteers. We have a fantastic volunteer group. We have many, many volunteers that are very involved, and we are listening to the concerns that they are presenting. We're committed to making the shelter, as one of the volunteers said, the best shelter in our area. So we are going to take a lot of action in that.
Thank you. Thank you for your work with that. Appreciate you going down there.
Any further discussion for Angie? Angie, I know, running an animal shelter is a difficult situation for a county or for, a non-for-profit entity also. There are some things that came up here this morning that probably need to be addressed post haste. One of them is obviously the dryer and washer situation over there. I understand it's been some difficulty as far as what the requirements are for installing a commercial washer and dryer and particular architect needs for that kind of stuff. In addition, just to talk about it, there was some money that was donated to that facility. The $60,000 is associated with the washer and dryer. I understand that's restricted funds
Yes.
and is only to be used for that.
Yeah, there's a list of things that can be used for. The washer and dryers at the top of the list.
There, so that money is there, it's available, it's in the restricted fund. There were some other monies that were donated to the shelter, but I understand some of that was from Nestle Purina. It was just general funding for the shelter, and that was added to the general fund. It was obviously used for operations at the shelter.
Correct.
Some of the things that we've run into in the shelter is obviously an added expense for, obviously we're running a no-kill shelter, so our staff does everything they do, even when a dog's been injured or a dog is ill, to ensure that it results in a live adoption, and that those medical costs, due to the rising climate and the environment we're in now, have really gotten a lot more. And so obviously, we continue to fund that operation, and I think I can speak for the board here that, don't let anything that you need at that animal shelter not result in you coming back and requesting an additional budget for that if that's what needs to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, just so that everybody that was here, we are listening to all of their concerns. And thank you, Angie, for picking it up. And Angie is going to be working with everyone out there to answer all of those concerns. And we will be behind you 100% to help you.
You bet.
And just to add to that, Angie, all along through all the social media and all the emails that I know that I've been copied on, and plus you've kept me informed in all of it, you have extended open invitations to meetings to everyone. It said anytime, any place, we were happy to meet with you. And that door has always been open in that communication. I thank you for that as manager. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Angie. Thanks for everything you do. we will move on to member comments. Board, any additional comments other than the ones we've just kind of shared?
I will just say we went to the Frontier Day Parade in Milford last week. It was a beautiful evening, no rain. No
True.
rain this time.
True.
So I've never seen such a turnout.
Yeah.
I don't know where all those people came from, but it was a fun parade. Milford did a good job.
I heard from some people that there were maybe one county official that was there that, got into a big water fight or something. I don't know who that would have been.
I do.
I didn't have to see him.
That's 2 against 1 right now. 'Cause I think there's
I
2
happen
of
to
us.
know who that person was.
Oh shoot. No, it was a lot of fun had by everyone that attended that parade, and glad to be able to do it and glad to engage with the kids. I did get wet doing it, but I have to say that I also delivered some to them too. So, I'll
I
consider it a
heard there was a
victory.
complaint filed against you.
I appreciate that.
I'll add something positive to today. Evidently, the sales tax holiday is going to be extended this year for all the parents out there that have to buy things for school and all the other needs for their children. But it's extended to 10 days from July 30th to August the 8th, and the amount has gone up to $500, which is an excellent thing to do in the state of Ohio and for parents of children right now. So,
Especially buying school clothes.
oh, backpacks and all the computers and everything else they have to have today.
Glad they picked up from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee always had their no
Right.
tax weekends.
There are some items on there that do not fall into that $500, like
Well, of
for instance,
course.
buying them automobiles, those kind of things. So, that doesn't work. But
You just disappointed all the
Well, but,
16-year-olds and a half-year-olds.
anything that's $500 or less, that definitely helps for those people that are planning for the start of school years. So it's great. Well, with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thanks for being with us today. And thanks for the people who came out and spoke in public participation. We really appreciate it when the public does come out and interface with us, and our ears are open,
Absolutely.
and we will definitely follow up on those. Thank you.